Hey everyone, Keith here, Tips and Tricks HQ. In this video, I just want to demonstrate how to debug WP eStore. Now, it's as simple as enabling debugging, and log files will be created with entries and that describe what's going on during the payment process, so that you can troubleshoot any area where there's a failure. Well, sometimes the log files do not contain any data. So we're going to go through a couple steps here just to make sure that everything's set up properly to enable debugging and to make certain that proper permissions are in place and proper settings are in place in order to actually debug. Okay, the first thing you want to do according to this checklist here is just to simply make sure debugging is enabled. It's not enabled by default when installing WP eStore, so we're going to enable that. Go to, in your WordPress install, go to WP eStore and then Settings. And in the General Settings tab, which is where you'll be by default, scroll all the way to the bottom. And if you've done any debugging before, you can optionally reset the debug log files. Otherwise, just make sure you just enable debug. So just put a little checkbox in there and then click on Update Options. Beyond that, make sure that Enable Use Automatic Post-Payment Processing is set up, so that, again, in the same spot, just above where we enabled the debugging, the checkbox at the top, which is checked by default, that says Use Automatic Post-Payment Processing. So make sure that's checked. If it wasn't, check it, and then click on Update Options there. Okay. And then another area where PayPal cannot send instant payment notification messages to the WP eStore plugin is when your website is set up with in maintenance mode or coming soon mode or whatever. And a lot of times that's done with plugins. So essentially, even though the website looks like it's working for you, being that you're logged in as admin, anybody in the outside world, including PayPal and including PayPal servers, sending in instant payment notification messages, your site will not be accessible, so therefore it cannot send that data to WP eStore, and then WP eStore therefore cannot write that data to the log files. So let's just make sure that there's no maintenance mode plugins in use. So to find that out, just click on Plugins. Take a look through your plugins and just see if there's anything in there that resembles maintenance mode or coming soon or anything like that. If so, disable those, test again, and then see if your log files contain any data after that. And if not, it could be just a permission issue on those log files. What WP eStore has to do is write data to text files that exist within the plugin directory, and these are .log or log files. They're simple text files that contain entries. And now if the permissions aren't in place, WP eStore cannot write to those files. So what we can do is navigate directly to the instant payment notification file. And what that will do is write an entry in the log file. And then we can take a look at the log file to see if that entry was written. So to find that location, you just have to go to your main website address and then append this query string to the end. So $eStore _pp _IPN equals process. So I'm going to navigate to that now for this particular demo website and show you what happens there. Okay, so it does say that debug is enabled, which we knew, and so we can check this particular log file to see if anything was output. So this, by navigating to this page directly, it wrote an entry into the log, or attempted to write an entry into the log file, so we can actually verify that. So we can go back to WP eStore and then Settings, and then right at the very bottom of the page again, is links to each of the log files. So let's take a look at, it's asking us to take a look at ip_handle_debug.log. So let's take a look at that file there. We can save that right to our computer. I'm just right click, save link as is what I did there. It might be save file as. Click save, and then open it up. And then there we go. We see an entry there that happened just now, saying success. This debug log was generated because you entered the URL of the IPN handling script in the browser. And what that means is basically what we did here. We went directly to the IPN script in the browser, so it wrote that entry. So therefore, permissions are definitely set if that's the case. However, if you don't see an entry in that text file when downloading it, then what you can do is change the log file permissions. And to do that, I have FileZilla here. I opened it up in so any FTP software you can gain access, and then go right to the plugins folder. So WP-content plugins, WP cart for digital products, and that's for WP eStore there. And then near the bottom of the directory, you'll see the log files in there. So just make sure the proper permissions are in place for writing to that file. So you can right-click File Permissions, and then make sure it's at least 644 or higher. And then that will give write permissions to that file. If no data was contained in this file, you would do that. So just set the permissions to 644 or 664, click OK, and then navigate to this link again, and then download the file and see if anything was written to the file. And that may be all you need to do, and then you can go ahead with your debugging process. Beyond that, it could be a setting that is turned off on PayPal. In order to turn that on, you simply log into your PayPal account, go to Profile and Settings, My Selling Tools, Instant Payment Notifications. You click on the update link on the right side there. Click on Edit Settings, and then just make sure it says Receive IPN Messages. Just make sure that's selected. Click on Update, and that could be all it was that was interfering with generation of log files for debugging. All right, again, this is Keith, Tips and Tricks HQ. Thanks for watching.